following me right now and you're new to my channel, I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness versus sharing my life stories based on everyday life stories on my life journey with Asperger's syndrome, OCD and the like, and also hopefully to just share my knowledge and know-how based on my experiences to the world, or just to you guys, shall we say, to understand me more of a person underneath these massive diagnoses. I also do some tips and advice along the way of the different disorders that may come about, as well as just some words of encouragement to give you enlightenment of hope that you're not alone, and that hopefully with this channel that you won't feel like you're being prejudged or misunderstood by others, and hopefully this will be a YouTube friendly channel. If you're following right now at this point of time, it has been brought to my attention that I've been trying to do the Let's Talk series and also juggling up some other series that I'm wanting to bring out right now, which hopefully will be coming out now, since as you guys are aware of my situation, which I humbly apologise in advance. As I said, keeping you posted as much as possible via on Facebook or Twitter. So in this part of the pieces right now, I'm going to be bringing out some more of the, hopefully maybe Stimming series, so that you guys can have a lowdown of what it is all about, as well as tidying up some loose ends also with the dyslexic versus the ADHD series that I may have missed out also, so that you guys can know what's it all about as well. I'm hoping also just to try and do some more of the Let's Talk series, regardless of the important topics, as I said, that needs to be addressed. Hopefully that we can do something about it, even though, like I said, if we can work together as a team somehow by engaging or just commenting or what have you, then it would be best to do what we can and start up and open for discussion, especially for the Let's Talk series that I'm going to bring out, regardless what it may be it in a political view or my personal view, versus some other bits and pieces that will be coming out later on, which I won't address now, but I'll leave it till later. So these are going to be the Stimming series, one in which they're going to be called How to Redirect an Autistic, that does some harmful stimming. The other ones will be basically looking out for the signs of stimming when it is maybe self-inflicted or dangerous and all that. This will be broken down into certain parts, bit by bit, hopefully, like most of the series has been, of certain topics, so they can easily be followed and to a continuation, so that you'll understand where I'm coming from. So hopefully, without further ado, when I bring out these, you'll learn something new every day, by all means. So let's begin this. Okay, this one's going to be how to redirect STIMS and autistic child's harmful STIMS, I should say. Humbly apologise. Right, as we know, basically, we know that when it comes down to child stimming, that, as I said before, that some of it can do a world of good to do it, but forever not to tell a child off. But we need to evaluate ourselves, basically, onto what stimming actually cause these bodily, like, injuries that I mentioned, and self-destruction, or just any other consequences that brings out the negatives. Okay, as we know, there are ways, however, to redirect that energy compassionately and effectively. As we know, basically, also that autistic teens and adults with this problem also needs to be addressed as well. So that's where I'm going to address it with the young child versus the teens and young adults in this part of the series. So this one's going to be part one, evaluating the STIM. As I said, obviously, when it comes down to it, redirecting STIMs can be an exhausting task, however. Okay, for autistic kids, adults and teens, it's important only to take action when the STIM does actually cause harm or cause us to know about it. So therefore that needs to be thought into place, So the first tip here, or step to go by, is number one, consider whether the STIM is actually harmful. Just because a STIM may look odd to you when they're flapping their hands, clapping their hands, or just shaking your hands around and they're getting so excited or nervous or whatever, you need to think to yourself, are they excited? Are they overwhelmed? Are they telling us something that they can't tell us? Because as I said, some autistics on the spectrum may be verbal but won't be able to share it properly based on their feelings and emotions, versus they maybe are verbal and they are trying to tell us something, even though sometimes with stimming, sometimes it's a belief factor for some of us. When it comes down to when we have that sensory overload that leads to that meltdown phase of our typical day threshold of stuff of the outside stimuli that is too much for us. Be it, for a classic example, that kids may start to stim in a busy environment that is so loud and crowded for them, be it in a shopping mall, and they'll start, stimming by flapping their hands, rocking, and the like. Okay, just remember, when it's oral multiple, it's not always forever a bad stim. But then a stim is bad when it fulfills one or more of the criteria. Okay, ask yourself these questions basically when you're dealing with kids with special needs that are autistic or just does these stimming in general. Okay, number one is, does it cause physical harm, such as biting, head banging, throwing themselves against walls? Number two, does it pose a health risk, placing objects in mouths, spinning until they fall down? Number three, does it make a mess or destroy things, ripping paper, spilling milk, what have you? Number four, does it violate others in their personal space? Meaning here is, do they play with their hair without permission? Number five, does the autistic child say they want to change the stim? Number two, do not attempt to stop stims because they look weird to you. As a parent, teacher, or educator, or whatever your role is in the child's life, just bear in mind it is understandable to be worried about the autistic children being bullied. It's just a norm for every one of us. However, modifying the child's behaviour for this reason sends the message that bullying is the natural consequence of looking different, and it is their fault for failing to be normal. It is the bullies who need their behaviour change, not their victims, however, of the ones that they're picking on, obviously, because as I said before, basically, it's important to modify certain behaviour techniques as well into this, basically, and know when to intervene. So some tips here maybe is, number one, spend part of a day teaching students what autism is and how to be supportive and helpful to that one that has autism. Number two, as a teacher, take bullying very seriously in all forms for all victims, however. And number three, cultivate an atmosphere of respect for individual differences. Children will model their behaviours after yours. Number three, consider whether it is worth the energy to redirect the stims. Teaching takes time and effort, however, as we know. It can be even more if it takes more effort for the autistic child to actually, calm down and know what's acceptable and what's not. If the new stim doesn't work quite as well, however, if they're trying out a new stim to help them coping, trying to redirect too many stims can harm their self-esteem and ability to focus. So save serious interventions for serious cases, however, as I said before, be it self-harming, be it that they're being destructive or what have you, Okay. Basically, I'm going to quickly talk about number two, understanding the stim. Okay, to go with this hand in hand. Right, as you know, for part two, once you're determined that the stim causes legitimate harm, it's time to figure out, one, what needs to be fulfilled, and two, what other stims can be, fulfill the same needs for that child. Number one, figure out what triggers the stim. This is a really important one. The triggers and causes of them, as I said before, when it comes down to it, some of them that stims could be a sensory overload with the outside stimuli, that noisy environment in the playground. Maybe you say they have to interact with others, and you've got, busybodies doing the actual, kicking balls and playing on monkey bars, and the poor kid is just sitting there in the corner just minding their own business. What circumstances arise before the child begins stimming? Keep a journal tracking each instance, however, though. Here are some examples maybe to keep in mind. The possibilities aren't limited to these lists, though. Number one, boredom, sensory seeking. Number two, frustration. Number three, hunger. Number four, feel pain. Two, consider what the need of the child is to try to address, or what they're trying to address to you, I should say. Stimming is a tool, remember. However, talk to the child about it if you can, or draw a hypothesis based on your log that you did create as of step one. Here are a few possible example possibilities. Number one, pain management. Number two, sensory seeking. Heavy work, touch, vestibular, etc. Number three, release of pain or emotion. Three, cry for help or attention, shall we say. Go to the autistic community. There is a group of experienced people who know exactly what stims work and how stims work. Be it also, you can be on some pages on Facebook or whatever that could be of value and use to you. However, also that you may be able to have a community group in your local area to talk it out with different parents, how they cope with it. Having different strategies for different things can be good, but just like I said, bear in mind that, save this actual stimming for later. There is a group of experienced people who know exactly how these STEM works, autistic adults. Try reading their blogs if there's any on the websites, and reach out to the Ask an Autistic hashtag. Another key point here is read lists of STIMS and read from autistic adults who have the same STIMS as your child. What did they use as replacements? Did the replacements work for them? And all the other questions. Number 4, draw up a list of alternative ways to fulfill the needs. The child may be able to try out the ones that you've listed, what they can do. For example, find out what works for best for these. So an example here for a heavy work sensory seeker, maybe try to all push-ups, lifting heavy objects and grasping the hands and pulling the elbows away from each other. Number 2, for a biter, get gum, candy or the chewy jewelries that people have when they're stimming. And last but not least, for a head banger, try heavy work, hitting the fist or head against the couch cushions or hitting the head against a glide rocker, or some may put on how it may look ridiculous, but it does work for some parents for their child to do this. Okay, this is quickly on the brief how to, redirect an autistic child's harmful STEM. Give me the like for thumbs up for support. This is only that engaging. Comment below if I've missed out anything. Feel free to open up a discussion basically on how you maybe help a child that does these kind of stimmings that I have stated, and maybe help any other adults so that we can better this community, or shall we say better this channel somehow in a way of engaging with one another. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, AspieAnswersAll. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Feel free to also share these videos around your family and friends so that many people can learn from this. Hopefully you've learned something today. Thanks for the support, thanks for watching. Do what you love what you do. As we're signing out. See you all again soon.